Welcome, everyone. Live streaming. It's a thing we do. Apparently not lately, but we're back today. We'll go as long as my voice wants to hold out here. Had a cough and a cold. Went to Dan's Fish, and now, well, I've been back, but I'm recuperating. Then I got a sunburn. Yeah, so that's how that goes. Dan's Fish, super fun. Had a good time. Uh, Surprised. Now that's gonna make it sound like I thought it was gonna be crappy. Impressed. That's a better word than surprised. Impressed at how much dedication they put into the healthy fish there. So if they can just learn how to market them, they're gonna be unstoppable. So hopefully I can help them with that. But even I brought fish back. Well, I didn't bring it back. I had them sent it to me. I fell in love with some fish there. That the pictures and video and that kind of stuff didn't do them justice. So you guys will see that when I film video. But before that, you'll see a video coming out about Dan's Fish because I was there. And yeah, hopefully someone's going to come up with some questions or some topics. I have just been in a brain fog of catching up with work. Trying to think, where has my time been going? Working on the title, CChem title optimizations, some other intake stuff that I'm working on. We've been ordering lots of stuff and putting containers together to bring stuff in. Been doing the Deep in the Mold podcasts. Got koi put into the pond from a customer that needed to move them, so they moved to my pond. What else have we been doing? I feel like all kinds of stuff. Each day is like, oh, I gotta fit that in somehow. Yeah. Dance facility and system are amazing. Yeah, they kind of are. Like it's well, you have to watch the video, but the fact that they pull the water in and it seems insane. The amount of money they had to spend to build the filtration system, and now though they get to reap the benefits of it, which is kind of amazing. And I don't know of anybody else that I've been to that's doing that. And it allows them to do, like, they basically never have to worry about ammonia. They don't have to worry about really changing water parameters. Like, it's just auto flushing water all the time. And so, kind of came up with some ideas to help them kind of lean into that. Like, yeah, you should play to your strengths here. So hopefully that will, that'll help. A 5-gallon topic, please. Yeah, 5-gallon tanks. I think 5-gallon tanks are scary in that people have made them scary. When I actually keep fish in a 5-gallon, just like 10 gallons, they feel huge. Like on a piece of paper, you're like, oh, 5 gallons, not enough. But when you actually start playing with it, fives and tens, I feel like they're plenty big enough. Like I've raised a lot of fish in tens and not as much as fives because 10 gallons are cheaper than fives for me. But when I do see what people can do with them, or I've done it, it's like you can do a lot. Even though the first rule of a 5-gallon tank is you have to not listen to the internet, because the internet will just be like, oh, everything's impossible, right? But they're biasing towards the new person and that kind of stuff. Like, oh, it's gonna be harder, it'll be worse, it'll be blah blah blah. Where if you've been keeping some aquariums, doing a 5-gallon is a new challenge of just like, okay, yeah, I can't just have unlimited space. Actually, I think about this a little bit and what animals would be good long term. And the part I love about it is it's just so easy to water change or clean. Literally, you can do it. If you get 20 minutes once a week, you're going to have a good looking 5-gallon aquarium. And that part's real alluring for a lot of people. They kind of fall in love with that of like, usually you don't tear them down. You're like, oh, it's just so little work. I just keep it going. So, yeah, I'm a fan. Shrimp tank, yep, love that too. I love, something like CPDs, British rasboras. There's, even if you just do like a group of 6 cardinal tetras or something, if you're like, oh, what? Like, what I like about it, I think, is because the tank's small, the fish or the shrimp or whatever can't just go hide in the back, or you just basically always get to see them, and I like that. It's almost like it's under a microscope, as in trying to think of something else in life where you're like, yeah, that's great. I get to see that all the time, as opposed to when it's bigger, you don't. And so there's got to be a parallel in life somewhere where I've run into like, oh, that makes sense. But I'm absolutely drawing a blank on that. But I do enjoy the smaller tanks. Yeah, and I still have been fighting with it even here. I'm still considering tearing down 40s and replacing with smaller because the 40s are just, they're so underutilized that I feel that it's a waste. So, yeah. Andrew with a $20 super chat. Whew. Super chat's a rare thing for me. Well, to be fair, I had them turned off for many years, so there is that. But as Amazon Sword sent up a spike, it's out of the water, it's growing babies nicely, it's growing babies even outside of the water, slower growing leaves, but is it possible to propagate those immersed plants, so submerged, immersed, yep. I think it's immersed, because I think you're trying to say the ones that are out of the water. Immersed would be in the water. Anyway, yes, the ones that grow out of the water, that's basically what we buy from farms. We just buy bigger versions, ones that have been growing out of water. Then we bring them into the water and we start converting them. And a lot of times you guys finish that process at home. So I think, yeah, will you be able to do that? Yes. If you can get some roots going, yeah, I think you can. Sometimes I just bend it back down, like, hey, start growing those back into the water. Because that way they're still feeding off the mother plant. But if you get enough roots and everything, you could continue to grow them in a humid environment outside of the water, or you could then flood them or put them under the water and they'll die back, but they'll convert. So, yeah, it's fun. 20 videos in a month? Oof, Stone Aquatics, you've been busy. Haven't seen your stuff, but my advice to someone, if you're new to a YouTube channel, is like, pace yourself. It's real easy to eat cake every day, and then pretty soon you never want to see cake again. That's the video game of like, yeah, I made so many videos, and then I started, I gotta make videos, and then I can't think of ideas. So slow and steady. It lets you reply to comments and learn from each video and that kind of stuff. There's definitely a balance between quantity and quality, and everybody's gonna have a different balance. So I'm kind of, lately I've been not a lot of quantity and not a lot of quantity. I've been putting all my extra brain cycles into product development with 3D printing. Immersed and immersed is not the same as flammable and inflammable. Immersed, if you were to say something that was immersed, right, that'd be underwater. And immersed would be out of water, but also submerged would be underwater as well. I notice a lot of plants, pogo, bacopa, grow great roots, yet I get a little to no growth. Any ideas? Also, I have 1.5 ppm of phosphates. Any tips of controlling it? One, never worry about phosphates again unless you run out. And almost always, if you aren't getting good plant growth and you have a decent aquarium light, the answer is almost always more nutrients. But then people go, but then I made algae, and then I stopped dosing, and then everything stopped growing again. There's some basic principles that we think we understand, and then we totally go against it. Plants will not grow without light and nutrients. And so when they're not growing, you are missing light or nutrients. But then people go, but I'm growing algae, so I'm going to rob my plants of either light or nutrients. And then they wonder, why aren't they growing? Because they don't have enough light or nutrients. It always goes back to that. So most often when I'm helping people actually fix their tanks, I go, great, stop what you're doing. I need you to dose 5x or 2x or whatever. Stop trying to limit and start trying to give it what it wants. And once you start optimizing for the plant growth, a lot of times what you start seeing is wow, the algae is going away. Yes, the plant chugging along at full speed is now consuming that extra phosphate and the extra things that you were leaving behind that were causing the algae to grow. Now, with that newfound effort, a lot of times when your plants start growing really well, you feel better about the aquarium and you go, oh, let me get that piece of algae while I'm in here. Let me do that. You take care of it better because you start seeing good results. You are willing to keep trying hard. Where if it's been going bad for a while and you switch a thing and it's still going bad, and you switch a thing and it's still going bad, you're more and more discouraged and you're putting in less effort, basically, of like, oh. And so getting that momentum of seeing the plants actually push forward usually allows you to beat back algae and actually start balancing a tank and everything. And so for us at the store and that kind of stuff, just get plants growing well. Like, don't worry about algae. Don't worry about algae. Just work on plants. When plants are going really well, then we could see why are you having problems with algae. But until that point, focus on the plants, not on algae and things like that. And so if we're just focusing on plants, you got to give it light and you got to give it nutrients. And pretty much this day and age, a lot of people have really strong lights and they don't know it, and they're not giving it nearly enough food. And so when we kind of switch to LEDs, and then we as consumers buy lights based on, oh, how much light? I need more light, more light, more light, more light. And because of that, plants need more and more and more and more and more nutrients, except everybody talks about changing water all the time, which I don't necessarily recommend. I recommend testing. Like the aquarium behind me, I run at 50% the capacity of the light. I have it turned down by 50%. These are like $250 lights, and I turn them down 50% because they're just way too powerful. What happens if you turn them up, Corey? I gotta put in tons and tons and tons of fertilizer, and if I don't, I get tons and tons and tons of algae. So I highly recommend, keeping lights moderate and then upping the nutrients to balance where the light is. Because some tanks, like, I can run the light really low and the plants will grow, but it's not bright enough for me to see. And this is a great example. I would normally run the light lower, except you guys won't be able to see it on camera. And so I have to bring the nutrient level up to match that, as opposed to just keeping it lower. I couldn't agree more. I spent hours researching the strongest budget light, got a Higer, which was a big mistake, grew so much algae I hated my entire 55-gallon tank. I changed to a lower strength light, and voila. Yeah, it's because we're afraid. Like, the average trajectory is you get an aquarium and you have a light. And then you go, I want to do a planet tank. And everyone says, get a really good, powerful light. So you do. And then you jump into it, and it's a problem. And so sometimes you got to realize the mistake and kind of, back out. And the only thing I can say is it's like you're a teenager, right? And when you're a teenager and you wanted your first car, most times the car you want to buy is not practical. Maybe you want a sports car. Maybe you want a truck lifted 40 feet into the air so you can move your cichlid tanks. Maybe you want a lowrider. Like your first car, you gravitate towards extremes. Where the reality is, a super sweet 4-door anything is kind of what you as a new driver need. And once you kind of get to that, oh, here's what everybody else is doing, you start finding some more success. And I find that with plants too. Any ETA on the larger root tabs, or has that project been scratched? I'm also loving the Deep in the Muln podcasts. Placed an order while listening the other day. Well, thank you. No, the project's not scrapped. In fact, here are even newer samples, right? Unfortunately, the delay is you're being crushed by our striving for perfection. And so, like, these are the current tabs. They've got some cotton on them because we didn't want them to get crushed in shipping for these tests. But these are the current tabs. And we're a little worried that some are going to break in shipping. So if I could break them. So we're actually going to go with a thicker tab which means it's going to take a little bit longer to get them to you guys. But we wanted to be sure because I think the minimum order or the minimum run we're doing on tabs is 1,000,000 tabs. And so that's a lot, right? 1,000,000 tabs. Let's say we're doing the 60 counts. Let me do that math. What does that math out to be? Let me get to 1,000,000. That's only 100,000. That's 1,000,000 divided by 60. Yeah, that means I have to order 16,666 of these. You start doing that math, and you're like, Corey, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, yes, so we better get right. We better get right if we're doing this. And so yeah, still totally forging ahead. Don't worry about that. But when it comes to making the correct die to cast them and the correct formula, and that's why they say samples still. Ooh, I guess you might be able to read that. 18 millimeter samples, because these also we have analysis done on each batch. So, some are a little powdery. We want to make sure they're going to hold up. We got to water test them. We got to do all of these things. And then we have to send them for analysis and make sure they're coming out with the correct analysis so we don't make a claim that's not true. And then we put 1,000,000 of those into production. 1,000,000 tabs. So, yes, very much still working on it. And you might go, well, what's the ETA? That was the other part of that question. My people are gonna tell them like 6 months, 4 months, somewhere in there. I think it depends. Tariffs really play with this. If there's no craziness in the world, maybe as soon as 2 or 3 months. If there's tariff jockeying and stuff like that, could take longer. And you would say like the root tabs are made in America, but like the die. And so what's a die? Maybe you don't know what a die is. A die would be like the metal pieces that go in the machine to like physically clamp down under like crazy PSI and make the thing, and then open up, dump out, and do it again and again and again and again. So those parts have to be machined and made and moved around and tested, and then eventually we go, into like real production. So 13 days and you hit the 5-year mark. All right. What's my favorite dwarf rainbow fish to breed? I don't know. I've bred? Yeah, I've bred some. I haven't bred the ones that are my favorite. If I was bringing out a new product tomorrow, I would be doing the like the red neon, the Paskai, Pseudomogul Paskai, I think, Luminatus. I hate that now I've been in the hobby long enough where I'm like, what are they calling it now? Because when it was brand new on the scene, it was Pseudomogul Paskai. Now I think they're calling it Luminatus. The common name was the red neon, but then the Wapoga red lasers came out from Gary Lang, and that got weird. So I'm not sure what today's is. Luminatus correct? I think Luminatus might be correct. Have you had to deal with any quality fade on your Chinese manufactured products? Not really, no. I think because we're plugged in pretty well with our manufacturers and stuff. Like there could be mistakes, and like a great example of that would be when we went to the 1-pound containers. This label is not scaled absolutely correctly for scanning. So like in our own store, what's good is we have a physical store, so they already gave us that feedback. So on the next run, we will fix these types of things. But there's always like, well, we didn't think it was like it should be perfect, but somehow it's not. So then what we'll do is we'll get more samples basically made up for our store and test them before we go into the next big print run. Yeah, Luminatus is how I know them. Yeah. But I think when they first came out, they were Pseudomogul Paskai. Oh, I still got this like mucus in my head. Fish Tank Barn donating 5 memberships. Thank you and welcome. If you're new, you can sync your account on the website, save 5%. There is a giant backlog of professional speakers we've hired to give talks, so you can watch that. There's some member-only videos. You get coins the longer, at a year you get a coin, and then every year after that. I know there's, Deep in the Mullen podcast you could start catching up on. We're only on, episode like 14 or 15 at this point, so you could catch up and be on the insider track of a lot of these things. Yeah. What do I think about internal filters? I think they're okay. I think probably most of them aren't as good as I would like, and like the top fin type stuff. And then there's some that are like the fluid ones are okayish. I think I'm going on a round of basically optimizing like all power filters. That's like my new thing. Please tell me you're not going to run out of brine shrimp eggs. I'm going to tell you right now, 100% I'm going to run out of brine shrimp eggs. I know that I've got about 1,300 cans left. I looked earlier today. And the problem is, to bring brine shrimp in at this point right now, it's about $250,000 that I don't have extra. So if you rely on our brine shrimp eggs, load up. That's all I can tell you. Now, if you guys buy all of our stuff today, I'll have enough money and I'll order in brine shrimp eggs. But that's not what the summer does. And we need to, because everything costs more for us. Like, even though, isn't there a reprieve and all of that from the tariffs? Compared to 4 months ago, the products that we buy to sell you guys still cost 30% more. So if I had to spend $100,000, now I have to spend $130,000. Even though there's a 90-day reprieve, it's still 30% more. The tariff was at 25% last year. It's still at 55%. So being that Corey isn't just made of money, so we had to make some choices. And it's like, I could bring in these 30 products, or I can bring in a frozen container of brine shrimp. And we chose the 30 products, basically. If we can make more money, the first thing we want to order is more brine shrimp eggs. But I know that even if we order them today, we will run out of brine shrimp eggs. We can't get them here fast enough to not run out. We sell more than 1,300 in a month, and it takes more than a month to get here. So if you rely on it, I don't want panic. I don't want to, it's like, you better buy them all. But, some people are raising fish and doing if you're relying on it, you need to have some backups like that. That's just what it is. So Pascal looks very similar to Luminatus, but I believe they're technically considered different species. Interesting. Okay. That could be a thing. I don't know. I mean, back when they were kind of introducing the hobby, when I was seeing them coming to the store, they were all one and the same. But like how a lot of things, especially rainbows, go, as time goes on, actually, we found that these are sister species, those types of things. So it's interesting to learn. I don't know more about that yet. Can't decide between discus and a community tank? Easy mode. Community tank. Discus are fun, right? They can be fun. But if you grow tired of the discus, you have to pivot all the way away from discus. Where a community tank, you can always be adding things to it, and it's not a make one choice, enjoy one thing. It's evolving. If I want goodeids, I can put goodeids in tomorrow. If I want clown loaches can go in tomorrow. If I want different rainbows, they can go in tomorrow. I can do anything with this tank. But if it was discus, it's what can live with the discus at those temps? That's always going to be the lens I got to look through. And it's totally worth keeping discus if you've never done it. Just if you're asking me, I don't have a great community tank right now, I'd be like, I would go there for sure. How serious is a bent spine and how to tell if it's TB? Well, first you go, let me look at, not TB. It's not TB. Almost never is it TB with guppies. Rainbow fish, sure. But guppies, Not as often. Most times it's just, something happened in the birth canal type of deal. But I don't worry about them that much. Like in the video that came out, you saw I have a bent spine one. I still bred her because it was one of the pair, or like the 3 fish I got. Long term, I'm not going to let her keep breeding, and I will cull that out. But work with what you got. I don't have access to more of those. So now that I've got the fry and they're growing up, like, yeah, I'm not going to let her breed. I just need to let her go live with turtles or something. Can you explain when you would use Easy Shrimp and Snail versus when you would use Crushed Coral? Loving the Deep in the Mold podcast. Real easy, Michael. They are completely different things. So a lot of times people kind of lump them together. But the Easy Shrimp and Snail, which, I have right here. Look at this. I got the 100 count sitting right here. Yeah, these guys. You want to use those when you want calcium for your animals. And so that's most of the time, right? When you use crushed corals, when you need higher pH. And so if you're fighting pH and maybe keeping lime bears or snails or something like that, crushed coral will dissolve over time to help raise that. Now, when you have brand new fresh crushed coral, it will have a little bit of calcium in it, but that usually like dissolves out in the first 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not a good buffer for calcium for very long at all. It's much better for KH and pH as opposed to GH, which is hardness. And as scientists and fish nerds, we couldn't make that more complicated for someone who's new. GH, KH, and pH. It could have been much simpler terms, and that's why you have things like hardness and buffer, and then pH is still just pH. But yeah, you could use those in conjunction, or your tap water may not need one or the other. Like, I don't really need to buffer up the pH in my water here, but I do need calcium still. Even though my water is hard, it doesn't have a usable form of calcium. I saw a real big difference in my plants and in my shrimp once I started doing calcium, even though I will have what I thought was calcium rings or calcium mineral deposits on my stuff, which reminds me, yeah, I sent my water off to Germany. Like, now it's been like 2 or 3 months. I really got to look that up now because I really wanted to know, because I was like, I don't get it. My water is all crusty, like around the shower and like the sinks and the glass tops, but it must not be calcium, because my fish and plants are doing way better once I start dosing calcium. In fact, I've been playing with it in this tank. I've got, so another thing you could do, you could use Seacom Equilibrium, dumping minerals all over myself because that's the spoon. But if you weren't using Easy Shrimp and Snail, you could be doing something like Equilibrium as well. I was testing that, and that confirmed again. I was like, the plants are doing better when I dose that. So that's why I set my water off with a $50 test kit to Germany, because I want to know, like, what is in my well water, because it makes it easier for me to try and combat and get the right thing. So, you changed my life, Corey. I've been doing the opposite. I've tried the snail and shrimp thingy before, so pivoting to that now. All right. Should I be concerned about pandas eating what? Hold on. Should you be concerned about what panda Corey's? Okay, it moved on me. I'm gonna read it again, and there might be a punctuation thing that's throwing my brain for a loop. Corey, comma. Should I be concerned about panda Corey's eating what are likely very old leftovers? Okay. No, like rotting-ish type stuff in the wild's pretty common. I wouldn't go out of my way to overfeed enough where you would be concerned, but I also wouldn't be that concerned about it. I'd just be like, I guess maybe I'll dial it back a little bit. So the second part of it was, just got 6 from Dan's Fish in my planted tank, or 20-gallon, it's difficult to gravel vac. So if it's just like mulm and stuff, not a problem at all. I thought you were talking about like maybe rotting food, or mostly rotting food. Yeah, if it's just mulm in the tank, don't worry about it. Kind of beneficial, even though like it's not fun to look at, but I think it's actually good for the aquarium, in my opinion. How do you deal with the not calcium deposits? I live in the same general area and I have the same problem. I just throw the aquarium away every week and I buy a new one. It's like 20 grand a week, but you know, for YouTube, you gotta do what you gotta do. No, I mostly just try to stay on top of it with like magic erasers and don't let the water level drop down because I don't want it on the front of the glass. And you know, if it gets really bad, which I try not to let it get really bad, then I soak, I get damp like paper towels with vinegar and I lay that on it, let that sit for like 20, 30 minutes. Then I try to scrub it off. Maybe I got to use a razor blade, but trying not to let it build up way too much. And so you might start to see it build up on the plastic rim, like get in there and work on it. Don't wait till it's like, oh man, I waited till that was really, really, really bad. And now I'm going to try to fix it. Kind of like algae. If I'm sure all of us have had algae build up in a tank. If you wipe the algae down like every week, pretty easy. You let it go 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and now you're like, oh, this algae, like, oh, I got green spot algae now. It's getting really hard. The pad's getting full. I got to kind of like get out of there. Wipe some more. Like, oh, come on, get it out of there. Wipe, wipe, wipe. So if you can stay on it, it helps quite a bit. Glad to see you, Corey. Hope the family is doing excellent. Yeah, doing pretty good. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm considering making an aquarium for my window baseboard. Okay. It measures 22 inches long and 6 inches wide. It'll house a betta. So what might be acceptable? Plants, food, substrate. So I think the biggest thing you're going to run into, like all that other stuff is easy. Can you keep the water stable from overheating and getting too cold in the winter? When it's like that close to that window, I think you're going to be fighting it. So I would for sure make sure you have a top. And then I'd be real tempted on the back to put like a piece of styrofoam between the front and the back so you can at least insulate a little bit. Outside of that, sure, give it a try. It's almost like those little Mr. Aqua, like 12-gallon long type aquariums. Thoughts on a fish safe amount of salt to get rid of duckweed? I don't know if I've solved that. I always have live plants. So I can't put enough salt to kill the duckweed that wouldn't kill the plants. If you don't have live plants, well, it depends on the fish, but just get goldfish. Get like some small goldfish in there and have them do work for you. Whoa. Do I find that your heroes light to bring out the reds in the fish better? Your clown loaches looked very vibrant in the last video. Yeah, they definitely. So you can actually play with the settings to accentuate red. Let's see if I can do that live right now. See if I can connect to it. But you can accentuate different colors a little bit. It's not, red is always the easiest and blue is like the second easiest. And then after that, it's like, well, it's pretty hard to make certain colors look certain ways. But let's see if I can get the right hand one here. Do I even have, oh, of course I don't have this one. Got to go into the devices, which I have a lot of these lights. I have, because it's 800 gallon. Let's see, is it this one? Let's see if I can connect to it. All right, let me try off. Which one's that? Apparently it's neither of those. Awesome. All right, let's try this one. Sometimes this Bluetooth thing gets a little on the fritz. Let's try this one off. Oh, good. Yeah, neither of them totally working. Perfect. Well, I would be able to tune it for you live on camera, but sometimes... Oh, there we go. Hey, it did a thing. All right, that's the left one. Or the right one on... Yeah, you understand. So if I hit the red button... Yeah, so you can see now that one that was dark is now on the red setting. And as the fish go over there, you can see they're more red than the other more balanced setting. Um, and then I could hit the green setting. You see how they lost some of the red, and now the Java fern in the center there is more green. And then they have one that's beautiful Andra setting. I think that one's more of like a purpley color. So yep, brings on a little more purple. And then you've got one labeled fish, which is, I don't know. And then you've got one labeled shrimp that looks like that, which is kind of like a more of a, that's closest to the Aquarium Co-op light, where it's more of a sunshine. And then you've just got all full blast. So that's what all full blast is. And you might be like, that looks great, Corey. And I'm like, you will not want to, I have to clean the tank, the glass every 3 days with that much light on there. That's at 100%. So I run it at the 50% of all, and that is, should be that. Why is it geeking out there? There we go. Now it caught up. They've all moved, and so that's what I run. So now you can see, like, yeah, you can definitely play with the colors and do that stuff. Just know that like visually, you might be like, oh, that one's kind of dim. It was using a lot of light to do it though. So like if you really have intense reds, I can still grow a lot of algae, even though the tank doesn't look very bright. And so that's what I would just caution about a little bit, is the Cheetos light's very, very powerful, but can also grow a lot of algae if you're not careful. Thanks for the 60 days to a season tank video. I'm on week 5 and plan on adding 6 Ember Tetras to my 10-gallon this weekend. Heck yeah, Dave. Are you new? Is that your first aquarium? I love that people are like actually using the 60-day plan, because I think it's a fairly safe plan for people to follow. So many people just like, here's what you do, and I've done it a million times too. Here's how to set up an aquarium, but without laying out like a specific timeline, people get lost. So that timeline seems working well for a lot of people. Yeah, fish setting, not good. Yeah, there's definitely some settings that just I'm not a huge fan on. I mean, you can play with all of like the colors, right? So there's red LEDs, green LEDs, blue LEDs, white and yellow LEDs, or gold. And you can crank or uncrank, and you could dial it. You could make the perfect color. I just don't care that much. So I just, of those presets. And what's funny is on the 800 gallon, there's a nature preset that I like the most. Not even available as a preset on this one. I'm too lazy to like create a profile and do it myself. But yeah, I enjoy the nature profile on the 800 gallon at 50%. Let's see. Really cool to see you learning about 3D printing. I work for a company that prints implants using titanium powder. Each machine costs $1 million. All right. So if like you need like a special pin in the elbow or something, you could just be like, yep, we make that, and now it's customized to that person. Or is it like some other implant? Like, I'm trying to think of something else, but I use a shrimp setting on your Chihuahua light. All right. And I think it's purely a, well, I think a big factor is what color fish do you naturally have, and then there's also what do you like. Like, I think that's a big part of it, because some people really love blue light on their aquariums, and I get it. If you got blue fish, it looks good. Can I tell you if Easy Green and root tabs are okay for axolotls? Yeah, they are in our experience. Yep. Yeah, for all the shrimp that live with your rainbow fish. Yeah. Cleaning 60 gallon. It's a 40 breeder with the footprint being taller. Yep. Should there be, wait, should be more popular tank from what I'm seeing here. Yeah, I don't, see, my 40 breeders, I want to go smaller. I don't want to go bigger. So I think there's, the problem is with any product, you're trying to appease a lot of people. And so like someone in a fish room would really love 30 breeders because you can stack them easier, like as in like 3 levels. Whereas like a home hobbyist, you like a 60 more because it's taller. It's more of a show tank display. And so, you know, you got to strike a balance. I'm running into that right now with our own product. We're trying to make with the like these, right? These Seachem Tidal intakes. This is for the smallest one, the 35. But like, should it be this size, or should it come down to here? But like, oh, then it sits down too far, maybe on a 5 gallon, but on a 10, like, oh, it's a little bit higher than I'd like. And then if you put the 35 on a 20, it's like, oh, it's kind of too long. So then there's a modular system that we're working on, but then it's just not as good. Like, this thing is stout. Like, you can, well, I shouldn't say you can't break it, but like, this thing is a forever part. Like, it is awesome. When you add little, like, oh, it's got a clip, and a clip could break and a thing could happen. And so I'm strongly considering, like, we're just gonna make it and we're gonna optimize for one length. And if you don't like that length, like, you'll have to find something else then, because I'm not sure we can do it right for enough people with 3D printing. If we can have them made in another country and we really go to full on production, we can do anything we want. But running a little bit into limitations with 3D printing. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Got shocked by a filter this weekend. How do you deal with stray current in your fish tank? You need a grounding probe. If you Google it or put it on Amazon, it's basically a plug that goes into your plug-in that just has, well, so there's usually the 3, like when you plug it in, right? Well, that bottom one's the ground. It just has a wire connected to that, and then it has a probe that kind of looks like a temperature probe in your aquarium. And that will catch stray currents and ground them out for you. So, yeah. It's one of the first products we were ever going to develop, actually. And we couldn't find good partners for it. And I was just like, I don't think people are actually going to buy this. Like, very few people see the value in spending like 10 or 12 bucks on a grounding probe, because it does absolutely nothing unless you need it to do something. Like, if you don't have stray current, it's completely useless. But the minute you do, it's great to have it. And so I don't think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I have 10 aquariums, I'm going to buy 120 bucks worth of grounding probes. Like, probably not. So, but yeah, you're looking for a grounding probe on that. Saw the Tidal attachment. Love it. When it comes out, will it be in the filtration section? It'll be, I think it's going to be in the parts section. So you might notice we have a new category on the website called parts. And I think it's going to go there because it's not a filter itself. And you could argue, like, well, shouldn't the pre-filter sponges be there too? Like, yeah, we might move it there. Yeah, I gotta make some videos on how to hot rod it and do it all that and just make it easy for people. But yeah, we're trying. We launched also like the lid handles. We launched that as well. So if you guys need new lid handles, I've got those. We've been selling an insane amount of the snail collectors. So we did run out on Monday morning. Re-upped with like 50. Then we got down to 4 last night or this morning, and then we re-upped. Like, it's a real. Our 8 3D printers are racing compared to how fast you guys are purchasing. And we're kind of saving up, trying, like, okay, I guess we're gonna buy some more printers. Like, the printers are, to get one set up and running is like $1,500 each with, like a filament dryer and that and all that. So it's not something where you're like, oh, just buy 10 more. It's like, well, that's $15,000. Like, that's a lot of money. So we're definitely racing how much you guys are buying, which is, we got it about right. We just need to start getting a little more flow, as in we can produce a little more than you guys buy, and then we can start catching up. Because once we launch, yeah, we're down to 22 snail collectors in stock. Once we launch something like this, right now it's pretty much 24/7 print snail collectors. Once we launch this, we can't 24/7 print them. So we're gonna have to get more printers, and we're gonna start buying more, I guess. It's a little scary to be going that deep into 3D printers, because it's just a lot of money and a lot of waiting for, like, oh, what happens if they start crapping out on us? Doing the maintenance, right? Maintenance intervals, training employees to spot things are going wrong, all that kind of stuff. How long does it take to print a snail trap? I could tell you actually. Let me. I think. I think it's about 3.5 hours for all the parts to print one, right? But we don't print just like one. It would be like, hey, of this piece, print 25 of those. Of this piece, we can, like, of the actual, like, the main part, we can only print 6 of those at a time. And I want to say that's like a 14-hour. No, it's not 14 hours. It's like 8 hours. So that's an 8-hour print to print 6 bodies. So, yeah, it's yeah, you got the cost of like development, you have the cost of filament, you got the cost of actually printing, and then as in like the time, you got the employees that then we have to assemble them and like put them into packaging, and the packaging has price, and then we got to ship them. So yeah, it's cool to be able to release things that fast, and we're just trying to scale without going broke on 3D printers. So if you're watching, give a like. That sounds like sound advice, Catherine Thomas. Yeah, if you're enjoying it and you've been watching this long, maybe hit that like button. That wouldn't hurt anybody. The snail catcher is the best thing I bought this year that's fish related. It's pretty good. Like I spent I mean that's why they lock me in the fish room, the hobbit hole, and I just have to sit here and R&D products and work on it, and it's been good though. I'm enjoying it. I was scared of that product because I knew the stakes were so high. So many snail traps become fish death traps. And so I set out with like, I gotta make sure this thing isn't the next #1 betta killer or loach killer. And so by knowing what the problems were of all the ones in the past years, I was able to like design a linear path to prevent that. And I think it's close you can get. Like, there's always going to be somebody, at some point, someone's going to be like, my dog got his head trapped in that, or my, dove-eye cichlid or something. I wasn't planning for that. So, can't prevent everything. But for community tanks, I think I've got it pretty locked in. The odds are real unlikely you could actually hurt a fish, which is good. How long's too long to wait to clear out the snail collector? I've gone 2 days. I tested that in 3 also, because I wanted to see like how long would the food last if the snails can't really get to it. 2, I want to make sure they wouldn't die or anything. 3, I want to make sure that if a fish was trapped, or a shrimp was trapped in there, they would live okay for days. So if you do it overnight or 1 day, no problemo at all. That's always part of my job, is like, cool, this is how it's supposed to work. Now use it like it's not supposed to be used and see if there's problems. So that way we can warn you and be like, don't do that. Or maybe we can change the design so people can't do that. Yeah, it's annoying to get baby cories and shrimp out of it. Yeah, but at some point, there's no way to prevent that. It's like moving dirt in your garden and then being like, I keep finding worms. Like, yeah, they live there. So you can't really 100% prevent it. You can discourage it. Yeah. I leave on vacation for 3 weeks every year. What are your options? Get yourself an auto feeder and make sure you set up your aquarium to go that long without water change. It's easy to do. And I would use the auto feeder a couple months before you even go. Make sure it's real dialed in for you. How often do I clean sponge filters? With the current easy flow system and everything, I basically average every 3 to 6 months currently. At the store, we average once a month. Without easy flow and like, let's say the weighted air stones, I can go like a year without having to clean them sometimes. But because easy flow provides extra suction, it sucks up more, which means it clogs faster. Feverishly refreshing the marriage Medaka page on Dan's Fish since you pointed them out. Yeah. I've talked to some store owners. They're bringing them in as well. I was like, these things are amazing. So some local stores will be getting them. Dan's Fish is reordering them too. So don't worry about that. I'm kind of not showing them off intentionally, knowing you guys. I think a lot of you will be like, I want some of those, just like I did when I saw them in person. And so I want to make sure that when you see them, you could actually buy them. That would make sense, right? Instead of going, oh, it's a bummer. So far, I've lost 13 mollies and I'm about to start over again for the third time. If you had to recommend a resilient and adaptable fish type, what would you choose? Well, mollies a lot of times are raised in brackish water. So are you asking a type of molly? Because there is. I would recommend either balloon mollies or liberty mollies. If you're just asking for, in general, a fish, it kind of depends on what your water structure is, but lots of tetras and rasboras and danios are very hardy. Rainbow fish too, corridoras. But without knowing, if you're new to the hobby or you have crazy water, you might struggle with anything until we have more knowledge. And I always, whenever we need more knowledge to make a good recommendation, I always recommend joining the forum.aquariumcoop.com. And you can post a picture, you can post ideas, and you can talk through with lots of other people. And then if something does start going wrong, you can post that, hey, here's what's going wrong. What should I be doing? And it's a great place to be posting the pictures and all of that stuff and keep a record of what went wrong. And that's what I do, except I do it personally a lot of times. Like, well, that attempt didn't go so well. What did I learn from that? Okay, I'm going to try this next time. And so, yeah, if you do that with others, it's a great way to level up and you'll get 10 different people's opinions. You don't have to listen to all of them. You just be like, okay, that person thinks this works. That person thinks that works. I tried this and it didn't work, so I know this isn't the answer. I would definitely, it helps to have people kind of just keeping an eye. Like, imagine you're learning a sport or something and there's like the pro in the room and they're just keeping an eye, make sure you don't get hurt. Like, all right, it's like having a lifeguard around. Like, okay, yeah. Many dechlorinators have additional properties other than ammonia, NO2, and NO3 removal. That sounds like that's a statement, but also ends in a question mark. Are you asking if there are other stuff? Because yes. Are guppies known for jumping? I got some Endler guppies, and they hopped right out of the tank that night. Is it common for guppies? I would say not common for guppies, because I got longer tails. I can't jump that well. And usually not that common for Endlers, other than when they're brand new to your tank. They can sometimes be chased by stuff or get spooked. So long term, usually not a good jumping candidate, but I always recommend tops anyway. Casey coming in with 20 memberships, 20 people getting access to Deep in the Mold podcast and our expert talks where we hire people every month to give a talk. And then also you could save 5% on the website should you choose to partake. We have an older 6-year common pleco in a 30-gallon tank. We changed up the lighting and noticed that they're now swimming around the top of the tank. Should we be concerned? If it's fairly big, yes. Sometimes they'll start surfing the top looking for more food. It can be very difficult to keep a common pleco well fed. What people don't realize is those common plecos can almost eat their body weight like every day. They just eat and poop, eat and poop, eat and poop, eat and poop. And so if you have a 6-inch pleco, you might be able to watch them eat an entire 6-inch zucchini in a day. And that's, once you realize that, you're like, ooh, this is going to be hard to keep up with. Like, that's a pooping machine right there, if I feed it appropriately. Andy, who's a 6-year-old fish keeper, would like to know what is the biggest plant I currently have in a fish tank. The biggest plant I have? I think it's a red flame sword. It's only like this big, but it's like this wide. So it's 1/3 of a 40 breeder as a solo plant. Because like I have another 40 breeder that's almost 100% guppy grass, but that's not one plant. So I've got one big red flame sword that's real chunky. Snail collector is amazing. Now my problem is that I need to order more I don't share my equipment between tanks, so I need to order 7 more. Whoa. That explains a lot. I was wondering why people, like, someone ordered 4, and I was like, who needs 4 snail collectors? Like, I could utilize 2, I get that. But 4? Yeah, I wonder, there must be a decent, I mean, it's not a bad practice, and I make more money. It's not a bad practice to have equipment for every tank. Like, that's actually pretty smart. But there must be like, oh yeah, I could soak it in bleach, which I have not soaked 3D printed stuff in bleach yet, so I should probably try that. I'm not necessarily, but there's got to be a way to sterilize it. Um, yeah. Casey, we miss you so much. Happy to see you live. I know I end up feeling guilty, and like my team, they basically say like, look, if you don't feel like streaming that day, don't force yourself. Like you got a lot of pressure on you. And then then I might be sick, and then I'm trying to catch up from work, and so the past, did I miss like 2 weeks? Well, it depends. If you saw me the one week, I was on Dan's Fish. So if you want more content, and you didn't know that I was live for 90 minutes or 2 hours something on Dan's Fish 2 weeks ago, go watch that one so you could watch that. But then also, if you're wanting more of this, we also do the Deep in the Mold podcast every week. So that's another hour to hour and a half you get. And so sometimes the way the schedule lays out and things popping up in business, like, I just don't have it in me to put on a live stream today. And I honestly woke up, or yesterday, I was feeling that, like, I'm not live streaming tomorrow. Like, I got too much to do. And then as I, like, oh, that email went okay. That meeting went okay. Okay, that went okay. And then I was like, and then Candy messaged me. I'm like, yeah, actually, I am going to stream today. Like, I got ahead enough. It's a lot of stress if I'm behind in work, because a lot of teams wait on me to either make decisions or get feedback. And so if I'm behind, it's hard for me to focus on like a live stream where I'm just having fun. While work, I have a lot of fun while I do this part of my job. So, yeah, Candy linked that live stream in case you guys wanted to watch that. I just went into your fish store aquarium co-op for the first time, and the koi and goldfish in the tubs were so cute coming up to the surface. Yeah, you get to, if that was your first time, you got to experience the expansion. Had you been there, a month or two ago, store would be 1/3 as big. I'm waiting for the aquarium co-op snail propagator. I mean, that's called my fish food, and then like easy shrimp and snails by the 100 count. That's what that is. I love the Dan's Fish collaboration. What was the coolest fish or my favorite fish I saw while I was there? Well, it'd be the 3 fish I bought. I bought some longfin orange rice fish that were to die for. I bought some platinum rice fish with blue fins, and then a pair of red Nigerian crebensis that I want to breed. And so, although I did fall in love with their purple mystery snails, if people heard me gush over them on the Deep in the Mold podcast, and you can watch on his video, he showed them off, and I've never seen them like this big. I've never seen anybody actually get them that big. But he was feeding them full-size zucchinis like every other day. And I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. Okay. Yeah, I understand now. And his water was dope. His water is like naturally perfect for them coming in and out of the, yeah. Let's see. Anna Banana, the person getting all the snail traps. That's why having a science background, that's what having a science background does to a person. Learned long ago about the joys of cross-contamination, and I don't want that for my tanks. Super respectable, no doubt. I was wondering if you guys breed and raise your guppies at the store. Most of the guppies at the store will be purchased. If it has a blue tag at the store, anything with a blue tag at the store means it was bred locally. So it might be from me or Dean or another breeder or an employee or just a customer. But if they have blue tags at the store, that means they were bred like in Washington, locally within driving distance. And sometimes we'll be real heavy on that, and then sometimes we'll be real light on that. It just depends on, people kind of go through booms and busts, myself, Dean included, where it's like, oh, everything's firing, I'm making fish all over the place, and then you get busy with life, and then maybe you're barely producing for 6 months. And so, depending on how many people are all doing it at the same time, we've got someone breeding like rams and some apistos and that kind of stuff. And so, if they're all firing at the same time, there's a lot of blue tags. How does Dean stay snail free? Dean basically quarantines everything in a bucket always. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, when him and his wife return from his beach house, they have to stay in a bucket for a week before they're allowed to actually enter their home. Very stringent about snails. And it's because he doesn't want to eat any eggs for his fish. Are we all excited about the King of the Hill revival? I tell you what, we have watched the trailer on the big screen, and we are eagerly awaiting. It looks good to me. Order snail traps coming on Friday. I've been breeding a lot of guppies. Do you need a permit to sell the guppies? Technically, you need to form a business, which is, I think it costs about $25. Depends on the city you live in. And that would make you legal. You don't need necessarily a permit, business license to be selling. And if it's, so really where almost most states, if you trade and sell less than $600, or I'm actually, that's not true. If you only have $600 or less of other income throughout the year, so maybe you mowed your neighbor's lawn and you sold some fish to Aquarium Co-op and you, I don't know, did one other thing. As long as those three things together add up less than $600, you don't have to do anything else. If it does add up to more than $600, you probably should have had a business license, or you have the business issue 1099s, and that's where people get into that gray area. So if you're going to do it a lot, yeah, definitely kind of make a business of it. If it's like, oh, every once in a while I got some fish, and it's a couple $100 a year, I believe that falls under that $600 exemption. So that being said, different states probably have different rules. That's just basically how it's going down in Washington, where we would be buying. Best food inside the snail trap? I don't have any right here, but I find it to be an algae wafer. Whether it's, I've tried both, and they both seem to work just fine. Hikari algae wafers, and then the bottom wafer with Extreme. Both seem to catch the same. I didn't go to optimize. It's like, oh, this one got a buttload. That one also got a buttload. But maybe you're like, oh, but this one gets a buttload and plus another 20%. I don't know. It's so many that it just seems like it's enough. I added a dozen pygmy corridors to my 20 long planted. Any pro tips for feeding them? Get yourself the Magic Small Fish Feed. Ding. It'll go all throughout that aquarium. That way, if you're breeding them, the babies will get some too. Can't you be legal as a sole proprietorship? I don't sell fish, but I make $10K a year with 1099s as a sole proprietor. Yes, depending on the state, and I don't want to turn this whole stream into that, but it gets weird when, like our store, we'd want to buy them from you without taxes. We want to issue the 1099, and we have to prove things, and depending on what it is, you also can get resellers permits involved, and that's why we have accountants and stuff. So yeah. Also, like in Washington State, for instance, I have to have a business license in the city of Edmonds as an LLC. I also have to register that with the state of Washington. And so you can get multiple layers going depending on what you're trying to do. So consult your CPA or tax person if you have questions. Hi, Corey. How do I get a membership coin? Good question, Noah. If you live in the United States and you sync up your account with the Aquarium Co-op website, what happens is once you place an order, it will then run software and goes, oh my gosh, Noah has been a member for 3 years. And then it's going to add some tags on your account. Membership 1 coin, membership 2 coin, membership 3 coin. Then when you place the next order, it will automatically tell our people in the warehouse, hey, add these 3 items to their order. And it will. So if you just start placing some orders, it'll naturally start adding on at the correct intervals. And you'll be saving 5% while you do it. That is currently the only way, because shipping just a coin would be expensive. And this is kind of just supposed to be a extra freebie. If you don't live in the US, it's a real big bummer, and we haven't figured out how to do the rest of the world. And someday maybe we will, but that someday is not today. You'll just have to enjoy the Deep in the Mullen podcast and the talks for the $5 each month. Bracken coming back with the membership. I have some fry from glass belly guppies mixed with common mosaic guppies. Do you think these would be worth anything? I think they would probably get sold as sort of fancy guppies. I did see some, I need to check again. Twin Cities guppies, Kang and Sai, they had some, I saw it, they had balloon glass belly guppies that I was like, ooh, I kind of want to play with those. But they were sold out, so I need to kind of keep an eye out for those. Yes, as Candy said, like, you would only get coins 1, 2, and 3 if you already had those years coming. Like, if you were 1 month in, you're not going to qualify for coins 1, 2, and 3. Or if you've already gotten coins 1 and 2, then you would only get 3, for instance, the third one. Yeah. I just realized I got a new card and have let my membership lapse for some time. Yes, Bracken, you've been around for a long time, and it's only saying month 2 for you, so yeah. Good news is you can catch up on all the member-only content. Oh, speaking of King of the Hill, I bought myself a life-size cutout of Dale Gribble. It now lives in my house to troll people, so it's pretty fun. I found crab cuisine works well in a snail trap. Snails love it, and shrimp simply can't resist it. Yes, and that's another benefit of the snail collector, is that you can use it to collect shrimp if you need to, like, sell them to a store or something like that too. So that's a benefit as well. If you didn't have, if you can, like, get some of those if you're trying to. Have prices stabilized at all? Yeah, I would say, I mean, stable. We try to be stable over years, but yeah, our costs basically stabilize. Currently, yes. Like, and what I mean by that is we are not getting as many letters like, hey, price is going to go up. But like on our website, you'd notice we don't have any tissue cultures. They went up 25%. And then, so basically what happened with tissue cultures, they went up 25%. And then they also said, like, yeah, and if you have any problems, that's on you. So if we ship out $3,000 of tissue culture and they arrive all dead, you got to eat it. And I'm like, so you got 25% more expensive and you're cutting all support of your product, Tropica? That's a no-brainer. We just stop selling them. Cool. And then either A, everybody else will sell them and they go, hey, we didn't need you anyway. Or B, they're going to go, just kidding, we'd like to support our product. And because we were willing to pay the 25% more, I'm just not willing to, if they don't even make it to my door, I'm like, I guarantee they make it to you guys. When they don't, we make it right. But if Tropica the farm won't do that for us, like, why would I support that? And so I just live in this world where when someone is the person handing the money, I expect to get the thing in the condition you purchased it in. That's how commerce works. Sometimes companies go, oh, no, that's not how our commerce works. And then we go, cool, that's not how we buy either. See you later. And that's what we did. And so hopefully they'll find a different way to be reasonable, and we'll bring tissue culture back in someday from them or somebody else. Let's see. Any talk on the stores handing out membership items? So the problem with that, Dan, is how would you connect a big system? And there will be people that do this, that, like, let's say you walked into my store and you got a coin, and then you go to Moonlight Aquatics and you got a coin, and then you went to the store in Nevada and got a coin, and then you went to the one in Florida and got a coin. How are we reporting all of that back to one main system? And training 1,000 employees across the country to all know what to do with that. It's like, oh yeah, that kind of gets. And then you have the problem of if I said, okay, you can now walk into any store, improve your membership, and get your coin, I might have to carry 5,000 of the same coin so that every location could have them. Where right now, we have one warehouse that keeps one set of coins. So, and meanwhile, like it's meant to be like a kickback instead of, it's not like I paid $5, I'm gonna get my thing. Like the coins aren't cheap. It's mostly like, yeah, if you subscribe all year round, yeah, we'll give you a coin. It's a cool collectible. But yeah, that part hasn't. I don't think that's gonna happen yet because we tried it at the store, at our own store, and it was super messy. I was like, if we can't even do our own thing, like that really seems hard to roll out to 250 other stores as well. I'm having trouble keeping Corridor Fry alive after about a month. You got any advice? Feed more. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of food. And don't make them compete with other fish for the food. And make sure they're not like in a little container or something. Like give them like, hey, at a month, maybe they're moving to a 5 or a 10 gallon. Yeah, we had coins at the local store for a while, and that was just a cluster too. It didn't work out. We piloted that program for like 2 years, and getting the message out, and then the people trying to do it, and then they'd be like, "Oh, my account, I can't bring it up right now," and then the employees would be bad about actually tagging the account. So we would give you a coin, then you'd place an order online, and we'd ship it. And you'd be like, "People place orders online?" Like, yes, there's people that live within 1 mile of the store and buy online. Like, it is crazy. Like, not even, like, you literally could walk here faster than you can place this order. Like, now I'm going to order it. So, yeah, it got real messy with that. We'd have to build a big system to make this thing that's supposed to be just like, it's just a little thing over here. Kurt Brutting, yes. I love your products and I love your message. You're doing an amazing job. The hobby is better hobby because of Aquarium Co-op. I love to hear it. My team works very hard so that hopefully we'll be held in high regard long term. So that, maybe in 40 years we're held with esteem with like Eheim or something. I find the coins rather childish. Yeah. Yeah. To each their own. I find them to be cool. Let's see here. Looking for something to talk about. Cleanup crew. Snail, shrimp, autosinkless to keep the tank clean, not green. Cleanup crews help a ton. You can collect coolie loaches with the snail collector. Yeah. Can be done, whether you want to or not sometimes. Let's see. I was wondering if you breed fish at your house and bring them to the store to sell. If you do, what type of fish do you breed and raise? Whatever I'm interested in. Yeah, stuff does come from here to there. Usually it's livebearers and shrimps and some orange lasers will be going. I'm trying to think what else. But over the years, lots of different stuff. Mostly as I make more, I don't need more at my house necessarily. Some of the favorite fish to keep with a spotted Congo puffer in a 75. I like tetras a lot. I like things that don't swarm the food. So like live bearers, it will, they'll go down on the food too, where tetras kind of stay mid-water, so it doesn't necessarily impact that. How's the ultrasonic cleaner going? Honestly, I haven't done any more testing yet. I need to all right, let me sit down, let me do this, and I just haven't yet. Best tank mains for electric blue Acaras? Just bigger tetras. I like Colombian blue tetras, Serpe tetras, Congo tetras, larger Danio species, rainbow fish. Yeah, anything that's kind of 3 inches or more. Is there a way to optimize for growing certain types of algae? I'd really like to grow some green surface algae, but I get brown. I don't know how to optimize that. Someone probably does, but I don't know. Now that I'm a birder, do you have any updates on the duckies? No, I think duckies left. So yeah, we lost it. Well, not win lose. Like that makes it seem like they died. Our geese left our pond, and the ducks have left our pond. It seems like they've moved on, and haven't seen any baby birds there. Uh, I will tell you, there's a surprise bird in the Dan's Fish video. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Ooh, raising raccoon tetras. Those look pretty cool at Dan's Fish. They definitely are. I think they, you got to get them pretty big, but they were starting to show some color, and I was like, all right, I see the lure of these. Yeah, they'd sell all day long at like Congo tetra price, but they're only a little bit more than that. But he did lower the price of peppermill tetras. I strong armed him. I think they're down to $49.99, which is much more affordable, and they were coloring up there. I was like, ooh, I like those. Which angels are popular these days? The same that have always been popular for the last 100 years, and that would be normal silvers, blacks, blues, red kois, and platinum pearl scale. And there's always going to be like, what about these other ones? Yes, lots of other types of angels sell, but in my experience, those are the only ones you can sell thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of. In my experience, maybe I'm a bad salesman at them, but it's not that other ones aren't cool, but I want ones that I can unload insane amounts on. So when I'm breeding them at 700 a batch, they're actually finding homes and not going like, oh, well. Down to $39.99 on the peppermill tetras? Okay, that's getting into Corey territory. Let me look at that. It's hard to say no. That's a bougie level price. I feel like bougie bish is gonna buy those peppermill. I got 99 of them at $39.99. I will say this: you'll see them in the video. They were not as red as that picture, but some of them were starting to get pretty colorful. Because I was worried about that. Like, what if you spend a bunch of money and they just come in this big and no color? Like, that's gonna suck. Can I bring myself? I was trying to. I'm kind of out of room, and I keep kind of finding fish I want without. I haven't finished playing with my other ones yet, and I still kind of want those orange lemon tetras. Those I think are too cheap. Let me see. Orange lemon. Oh, it's sold out now. Okay. At $12.99, those orange lemon tetras, that picture doesn't look nearly as good as they did in the tanks. So, yeah. I like how Corey got Dan to start doing the warehouse walkthrough videos to show current stock. Yes. I was like, stop live streaming so much and start showing your fish. You're here to sell fish, and even I would buy more fish if I could see the fish. Because I don't know, is that thing this big, colorful, not colorful? Like, if I saw it, there's so many times I would buy it. But I just go, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to say no. Was buying everything at Joann's for 90% off before they closed. Yeah, I saw like last week they were still there, and I was like, should I go and see if they got any like needlepoint left for like making fish stuff? But I didn't go in. I should. Get some acrylic yarn, make more mops. Do I remember the first time I kept guppies? My first guppies, I think, were either black Moscows or the German Berlin buttercups, I think. Because I got into fish with like one little community tank, and then real quick, I went straight into breeding for profit because I didn't have money, and I was like, wait, my mollies made babies. I paid for those. And then I went on to Aquabid and I was like, ooh, I could buy shrimp and I could buy this and I could breed those and I could trade them. And that's what I did for a very long time. Well, not a very long time, but that's what I did to really fund my whole hobby. So I think it was straight to like a known strain. Wow, $30 Singer sewing machine was wild. That is wild. I can't believe they got that cheap. Someone didn't scoop them all up. Been a huge fan for many years. Spoke with Zenzo about a job in marketing a while back. I was wondering if you had any openings in marketing or operations. Nope. Basically, with let's just call it tariffs or whatever. Like, we're doing everything we can to stay afloat, not taking on new mouths to feed. Basically, when times are better, like, yeah, we'll take some more mouths on, and sales aren't growing. They're kind of flat to going down slowly. We're going into the summer period. The summer is always a little bit lower, just because people like to go outside and play in their garden. Me too. Um, so yeah, when we have openings, we usually announce them, and people always ask, "Well, when?" I don't get that. That's not something I really get to decide. Like, if you guys start spending 50% more money with us, like tomorrow, yeah. And if you don't, then we don't. We kind of grow at the pace we grow. We don't make any crazy decisions. We just try to make good moves, and hopefully that builds over time. We never know which product will be the next hit or not. And a lot of stuff's out of our control. So, yeah, just watch for when we have positions available and apply. When are we gonna get to see your new fancy Madakas? Probably when Dan has more in stock. He's already ordered them. I think they're already on the way. They'll probably arrive like Monday, and then it's like it's 2 weeks quarantine, right? So I'm trying to hold the video back for when he's like got some, and then, but I kind of need to put out a video this weekend. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes out. How big do you plan on building the 3D printing side of the business, or is it a temporary thing? I don't know yet. I don't know, because we're still so new into it. It's going well, but can we keep up with production? Like, if I can't imagine trying to print sponge filters, right? For the amount we sell, like, I don't even know how many printers we'd need. The way I envisioned it when we got into this was, we'll have X amount of printers, whatever that looks like, and then whatever the best sellers are. Let's say it is the snail collector or something. Like, great, let's get that being made by somebody who injection molds and free up the printer time to do these other parts that aren't huge sellers. Like, 3D printers are really good at things you only need to, like, yeah, we sell 100 of those a year. Really good at that. Where injection molding, not good at that. You're like, oh no, you need to sell 100,000 of those a year. And so that's how I envision it working. Oh man, this thing's going really good. Great, let's get that officially produced. And then let's launch more things that the 3D printers do, and just keep elevating the winners to mass production. And then if things are really niche, like, let those live in just 3D print land. We'll see. Do we make any Corridor fry trays or sell any? We don't currently. You can get them from Lowell's Fish Lab. That's one way to get a hold of them. And again, some of that's not that I wouldn't. It's that a tray like that is more like 10, 12, 14 hours to make. And so if we made those, you'd be like, cool, you made 8 a day. You can sell 30. You're always sold out. So, you got to make enough money to buy more printers and things so you can sell more, and hopefully not get stuck with, well, we actually never made any money, but we own 86 printers. Hopefully people want those and not $30 sewing machines, right? Maybe you won't become a billionaire from breeding fish, but you will become a billionaire from U.S. manufacturing. I don't know about that. When you really look into the logistics of even touching $1 billion, billion is so much more than million. It's hard for my brain to actually comprehend. I think most people, like, you got to use those, like, things that convert it into time, where you're like, yeah, 1,000,000 seconds is 33 days, but like a million, well, let me do that for you. Like 30, let's see. 1,000,000 seconds is how many days? Let's see that. So 1,000,000 seconds is 11 and a half days, right? Like, okay, 1,000,000 seconds. 1 billion seconds is 11,574 days, right? So let me convert that to years. Yeah. So, okay. So here's the example. 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 31.7 years. Like my brain, like a billion of anything is so much bigger than a million. It just seems like, oh yeah, it's like going from 100,000 to a million or 10,000 to 100,000. Like, oh no, it is way more. Like such a big astronomical number that my brain seriously struggles to quantify how big a quantity that is in almost anything I think of. Yeah. U.S. manufacturing sounds like a money pit. Well, it could be, right? So the other problem, right? Here's the other problem. Let's say it takes me $7 to make this, or $5, whatever it is, and we're cranking them, and we're buying 3D printers, we're buying 3D printers, we're buying 3D printers, and then someone else just goes, cool, I can have that made in India or China or Taiwan, and they're like, we can have it injection molded, and it would cost $2. And then they bring it to market and they undercut us. Now we're stuck with a lot of printers. So it's scary to ramp up production on a thing, like where you're actually producing it and you're employing people and all of that goes with it, and then knowing that there's technically a more efficient way to make the same part. That gets scary. So we're taking it slow and steady. What would it take to start a manufacturing plant for plastic and mold injection? I don't know. It's probably not even the money's a limitation, probably $250,000, and then years of permit work, and then regulations and stuff like that. Like the complexity it's not so much the actual, like, I bought the machine, I can do the work. It's like, great, but what about the ventilation system that you have to install? Like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be $100,000 for ventilation on the machine. I didn't realize that this and that and all those little intricacies that you don't know until you know. And it's all a scaling thing. Like, well, who's delivering? Because, like, you use plastic chips, right? Like, okay, well, who's delivering truckloads of plastic chips, and what does that look like, and all of that to go along with it. $1 billion, like 3 million Chihuahua lights. That's right. What happened to Lady Bird and Murphy? Both of them basically passed away in the same 6-ish months, from mostly unknown causes. Yeah, never fun. It wasn't like, oh, it just had ick or just had this thing. Like, they were long and drawn. Like the one at my house, Lady Bird, it was just like, ate fine the day before. I was out of town. Katie was feeding, and the next day, not doing well at all. And whereas, like, Murphy was, he's starting to go blind. He's not eating as well. That was like a year-long downfall of like, well, let's try this, let's try that, let's try this, let's try a lot of things. Couldn't just get him to like, yeah, that seems right. Yeah. What's my most expensive fish? I think it's the Lipsifer eel that lives here. He was like $250. I think that's my most expensive fish that I own. Is that true right now? Yeah, I think that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The manufacturing thing is like, I just need space and personnel and money, and the problem is I'll spend lots of time trying to figure out how to really manufacture things and have no time for making products better or trying to invent things or testing. And so I don't want to stifle what's going on and just be like, yeah, we totally pivoted to manufacturing and we haven't made anything new in years. I want to keep trying to make new things. Where did I get the eel? I was Googling for like 8 years or something like that. And eventually it was like, just a listing was like, hey, we have it. And so I ordered it from them. I could probably look it up in my email, I guess. Can't be too many things called a lips for eel, I would think. Let's see. I got it from, I bought it from CaliforniaCichlids.com. Yeah, I even emailed them. I was like, do you actually have this? And they were like, yeah, we have it. And so then I bought it. Yeah. So I've only have, and don't take that as a, well, you endorse them. Like, no, I don't endorse a company I've only ever bought from once, because you have no idea, like, are they really good or really bad at shipping? Like, you could be lucky once. Or I also know this too, like, sometimes people will see my name and they'll do like an extra good job, and that's not what the same thing other people would get, because we a lot of times will test that of like I know Candy's been involved in that, like, hey, I need you to order. They won't know specifically who you are, and like film the unboxing, give us your feedback. We'll have employees order things and go, did you get the same good great customer service? All right, it wasn't just for us then, or for me, I mean. Yeah, not the same place I bought. There was a different, it was a different state cichlids that screwed me over real hard. Ace Hardware has the best price I can find on Schedule 80 1-inch PVC at $25 for 20 feet, and they have a 15% off coupon. Bulk Resupply, for example, charges $14 for 4 feet. All right. Is water movement at, my brain, is water movement at the top? I think it meant to, okay, I was supposed to say it. Is water movement at the top of the fish tank a solid way to judge filtration in your tank? It's a solid way to judge flow, maybe, but not actual filtration capacity. Like, I could have an empty canister filter, and it would visually look like lots of water movement, but doesn't mean it's actually necessarily good at filtering. So, yeah, I don't think it's. You also can have like very low movement of water and have really good filtration also. So I would say that, nah, it's not really it's kind of like TDS. Is TDS a good way to measure water? Like, not really. Can it be done? Like, technically, yeah. Is it good? Not really. Do I know why guppies and endlers are considered different types of fish? I don't understand why they're so similar. It seems like they would be different breeds of the same fish. It's just the way genetics work. Like, why is like a mountain lion and a common cat at your house different? Like, they're so similar, like, but they're not. Yeah, like they are, but they're not. Same with fish. Like, yeah, they're real similar, but they're not. Mostly it's we just don't see the differences. And as you keep them more, you'll understand, like, well, why is it endlers can live in like lower pH water and everything, and guppies can't? Like, because they're different. That's why. Like, even though they look the same, they're not the same. And even though they can crossbreed. Good dither fish options for dwarf petricolas. I'd be doing tetras and stuff. We sell them as community fish. That's what we do. And if you really want to see them, you feed. If you feed food, they come out and play. Also say about the production or manufacturing thing, like, most companies focus on one type of manufacturing. And so, like, could I make plastic parts? Sure. But should I just be making fertilizer or root tabs instead, or sponge or something else? Like, yeah, maybe. And that's the thing, is like, it doesn't make sense for us to try and make all of it. Like, maybe I should be a fish food manufacturer or whatever. And so, yeah, thinking about that too. It's like, even if I was going to manufacture, like, which part or what, like, what sector would I be in? Because you're not going to do all of those. You're not going to be like, we're a hardcore chemical manufacturer and also we make fish food. Like, that doesn't go together. Let's see. I think I'm calling it. Slowing down a little bit. I'm getting a little lightheaded. Like, I should have eaten some more for lunch or something, and I've been sick. So it's a good spot for me to call it, even though it's not the full 2 hours. That was the other suggestion by my team. Is like, it doesn't have to be 2 hours. It slows down. Just call it. So I'm gonna call it because I got stuff I want to get done today as well. And so I appreciate everybody that donated memberships, everyone that gave a thumbs up, everyone that participated in chat, everyone that's buying from us. And yeah, I'll try to make it live next week. I don't think anything conflicts with my schedule. Do me a favor. The biggest thing you guys could do for us, if you want to do something, is leave reviews on products. If you have something from us and you like it, go leave a review. I mean, I guess if you hate it, go leave a review too. But it really helps when you leave us, good reviews. And the more energy you put into it, you can do video, you can even link YouTube videos, you can take pictures. That really helps everybody together to go, oh, that's like what I've got going on. Because I can't think of every scenario, and you guys are the best source at helping each other. Because I can tell you everything, and you're like, yeah, but you just make money when you sell it. But if it's someone who bought it and paid for it, and they go, hey, this thing's working for me in this way, you guys might have that same thing you need to work on. So super appreciative to anybody that will take the time to do that. Helps us a ton. And yeah, watch out for more videos. Buy all of our stuff. Enjoy nature daily. Compliment somebody. And I'm trying to think if I have any other taglines I need to wrap up. Casey's got 5 buzzer beater memberships. Congrats to Richard, Cornelius, John, and Thomas. There should be one more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Why can I only see 4? That's weird. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Maybe there's another one that's not in the chat or something. All right. Well, thank you very much. Let me find the right buttons. I'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, watch for what we do. Yabba dabba doo.